I was born and raised in Atlanta. I've spent the past 10 years in Korea building a career. Now I'm back here in the States as a completely independent artist. And so it's been this physical journey, but also I think about life and how we all have our ups and downs. And so the songs on this album are kind of a journey, just a full range of human emotions. And There and Back Again was a phrase that best kind of encapsulated all of that. This is the longest time that I've ever spent putting together a project. What I did want to do was to really elevate it so that it sounded more natural. When you compare that to what I've done in the past few albums, it can feel very different. I think for any other way, Lost on Me, even I Don't Know You Anymore, they're just good vibes. They're happier, they're lighter. They kind of remind me of just like standing on a beach and just dancing like slowly, just kind of like, stepping back and forth, just chilling. Hey MTV News, this is Eric Nam, and these are the top 5 things that I've learned about myself throughout my career. Oh man, this is hard. The first thing that I learned about myself throughout my career is that I love coffee. Coffee is my best friend. Humans are great, but honestly, coffee is better. It doesn't talk back to you, and you know exactly what you're gonna get unless it's too acidic, but then we're gonna have a talk. My career has spanned, for better or less, 10 years, and that means 10 years of being on some ridiculous shows, doing incredible concerts, outrageous travel plans, and really, really high highs and really, really low lows. And the only thing that was there consistently, all the time, whenever I needed it, was coffee. I'm not addicted to coffee, don't worry, but I think it allows me to refresh my day or take a step back, recenter, refocus. What are you doing? The next thing that I learned about myself, I am a very chaotic person. I have really, really short attention span. It is something that I am coming to terms with and that I'm learning about myself on a daily basis. And I love and I hate it. I love it because I think it's what makes me really creative and it allows me to do a million things at once. People are always like, how do you do so many things? It's like, oh, it's my attention span because I just kind of jump from thing to thing to thing. And whenever I do that, I actually think there's like a synergistic effect of me doing so many things that allows me to see my projects in a very different perspective. Now, on the flip side of that, it makes me incredibly forgetful and I get frazzled a lot. And that is increasing with my young age. I forget things a lot. It takes me forever to get one thing done and it's really, really difficult at times. But I've learned that, again, you take it with a grain of salt and that's what allows me to create music and ideas and TV shows and write things. And it's a blessing and a curse. And you accept it and you learn it about yourself and you deal with it and it's gonna be okay. The third thing I learned about myself is that I'm impatient. I'm very impatient. I learned that because the creative process can be very slow. Over the past 10 years, it's been a process of telling myself, teaching myself, it's okay not to have the answers. Even if you wanted them and even if you had them, they're not gonna reveal themselves until they're ready. And so just being like, bro, chill out. Like, it's good. And that goes for like the perfectionist thing too. I used to be a perfectionist and I'm like, just let it go. Like, you just gotta let it go. Another thing I learned throughout my career is that it is important to eat food. I have a very complicated relationship with food because I like food, I tend to overeat, and I tend to binge eat. So a lot of things just like happening right there in those 3 sentences. Now, I told you I love coffee. Because coffee is my best friend, I would neglect my other best friend, food. And so food would get jealous and my stomach would get upset at me. And if you don't eat, you're gonna get health issues. And so I had a period while I was even on tour where I couldn't eat anything other than like white bread and like rice because my stomach couldn't handle it because I had not been eating properly. So it is so important to eat because you need your nutrients, kids. You need your vitamins, however you want to pronounce it, your fiber, your proteins, your carbs, because that's what your body runs off of. And if you don't, your body's gonna punish you for it. And that's what I learned throughout my career. So please eat well. You're welcome. This has been a PSA. So the last thing I learned about myself is it's okay to be confident. And people are like, what are you talking about? Of course, like you're confident, you blah, blah. I have like a serious issue when it comes to like, I think celebrating my wins and the successes. I think I'm my biggest critic, and I'm always like the hardest on myself. I think about this a lot, but I think it stems from, for so much of my life, and this might be like an immigrant kid kind of thing, honestly. Like, we're told that we have to be the best or we're not good at all. Or we're told that we're not good enough. Mentally, subconsciously, it puts extreme pressure on a lot of us that we don't even realize is there. And so as I was making my strides in my way in my career, nothing was ever gonna be enough. And it made me really like question, like, am I good enough? And it made me very unconfident. I'm now like forcing myself, if somebody gives me a compliment, to like really appreciate that compliment and not write it off as like, oh, they're just being nice. Or taking a step back and saying, hey, that's a really big accomplishment, really good job. That also allows me to just have more fun in the process of being a performer or an entertainer or a musician or whatever it is. And this is like one of the biggest lessons that I'm still learning, to be more confident, to own your successes as much as you overly own your failures, and to remind yourself to have fun so that the entire process is very enjoyable. I hope that when people listen to this new album, they are able to discover hopefully like an upgraded version of Eric Nam, one that sonically has matured. I want this to also kind of push the confines of what people imagine somebody who comes from K-pop being able to do. And I think that's been so much of my career, to place myself in a difficult situation and to find my way to survive or to make it through. And it's hard, but I do that, and I take that with some pride, that I feel like I've been in impossible situations where I'm told that I can't, and I make it happen. I think this album is like a physical manifestation of that. So hope you love the songs. I hope it speaks to you in some way, and I hope you know that by listening to it and by supporting it, you're supporting an independent Asian American artist who's really trying to make things work and make it work for the culture.